Hey, good morning, Slammers. Pre-game prep for you with Coach Dustin. We've noticed recently in the last couple of games, our midfield has been very congested, really tight spaces, and hard to play out of. So we're going to change our formation today, and hopefully that will alleviate that, give you guys some more space to work with. But a few very key effects that will have on how you might be playing in your position. So to start, it's a 3-4-1-2. So we have three backs, which hasn't changed at all. This is what's changed is we now have these four midfielders, our right and left as our wingers, and then we have these two central midfielders who are going to take turns playing the holding midfielder role. I'll explain that. We have our center midfielder here, is more of an attacking role, and then we have two strikers. Yay! So, and I'll explain how those two can play well together and share the roles. So, first major change here, of course, usually we've had just Eileen as the holding midfielder in a more central location, but now we've got two, right? So we've before we had a triangle that was more like this, so now we've got this. And what that means is if the ball is, say we're attacking on the right side, we really want this midfielder to join the attack, and the 8 can slide over a little bit more centrally, and they become the holding midfielder. If we're attacking, meaning we have the possession, and we're headed, now we've got 8 coming down this way, of course, the 6 here would kind of hold this position. Now our backs are always pushing up here, so that number 6 and number 5, we don't need you obviously in line, so you can kind of share that responsibility of that space and hold the line essentially, right? Okay, cool. So that's one of the biggest major changes. The other big change, of course, is that now we have two strikers. So you call them, center forwards, strikers. They're not usually when we had one striker, which is usually Roxy would play. She's just stretching as high as she can, ready to spring. What this allows us now to do is instead of having their defensive back line having to worry about one striker, now they're going to have two. And usually you don't necessarily have both strikers playing equally high. You might have one, especially if the ball is being fed from the right side out this way. That striker might come back a little bit more as a forward here and help get the ball out, whereas this striker is over here kind of waiting more patiently for that opportunity. And same goes for attacking from the other direction. Also, when we're attacking from this side, or when we're defending, so if they're coming in, this striker here, as always we say about strikers, you have carte blanche to go and press and strip the ball and try to dispossess the other team. Don't hesitate. We don't care if you make a mistake trying to get a ball. If they beat you, they beat you. But we want to have that really high press and just be a nuisance to them. Make them feel like that you're just always there trying to get the ball away from them. Puts a lot of pressure on them. Forces them to make a lot of mistakes. Okay, cool. So there's some of the big changes with that. Let me just kind of show you real quick how this looks when we compress into a defensive posture and how we expand into a more offensive posture. So let's first go into the defensive mode. All right, so there we go. So when we fall back into a defensive mode, we almost get a back five with the wingers coming back. So this is why I said earlier, I might have said this, but sometimes these wingers, left and right mids, they have to play defense, and that's kind of a wing back role, right? So wing backs, they really cover the entire length of the field, which can be very exhausting. Of course, you need to have great stamina and a lot of speed. But why do we want that? Well, if we're only playing three backs here, we want our wingers to really work on these areas and take and strip balls away, right? We don't want our left back to have to come out to here, because as soon as they do, they've now exposed a large area here, and everybody has to sort of shift over. So ideally, the winger is able to get back and sort of attack or defend these areas here, okay? Our two holding midfielders, let's call them at that point, take shots away. This is your number one goal, is to really play very tight and to take away the shots of anybody. We don't want shots being taken from this area. And our three backs is to keep them in front of you, right? Always keep those attackers in front of you. We don't want them entering inside our penalty box, right? That's where the major danger zone is. So danger zone also is always here in the middle, so we want to force everybody out wide. We call that containing, right? So if they're coming with the ball, we always contain, try to push them out into these outer areas. Out here, we don't like them having access to this middle, right? So always contain, always force the attackers to the touch lines and to the corners. Cool. Yep, so our number 10, you're also helping. So you're looking for any ball that finds its way out to immediately help on the attack, right? We call that the transition. So as soon as we win the ball, you are huge, very, very important, both wingers and the number 10, very, very important in the transition phase, trying to get us back on the other side of the field. These two strikers, look, when we're off the ball, doesn't mean we're just kind of waiting. You're anticipating and trying to take away passing lanes, right? So if they decide, for example, to play a ball back out, you need to be looking for opportunities to intercept those passes. And then also defending anyone, like I said, you always have carte blanche, meaning you have free reign to go and pressure anybody who has the ball at any time and with no fear of making any mistakes. All right, so here we go on the attack. Cool. Let's take a look at this for a second. As we came out, you'll notice a lot less compressed, right? We're starting to stretch out. Everyone's getting wider, and we're moving up. So one thing we want is, especially as we're in the attacking third, right? So let's go ahead and put the ball into somewhere in this attacking third area. We want our backs to play high. We want, our center back, our sweeper, holding this line, right? That kind of uses the midline as a good place to direct or just to kind of protect, what's the word? It's like your lookout tower. This is a really good spot for you to be. We want our goalie bringing out, near the top of the arc here, so that you can, any balls that get sent over our sweeper, you're able to get up there and play it out, right? And we have our wingers both out wide, stretching both width. And then we have our strikers occupying the box and just really pushing that back line, right? We want them to really feel, oh my gosh, I have a ball's over here being played by this winger, but I've got these two strikers in the box. Who am I supposed to keep my eye on, right? So it just really causes that sort of chaos there. We really want our attacking midfielder to be looking at this arc as a shot-taking distance, right? So use this as a good marker for you to be like, okay, time to take some shots. This is where I want to be. And we definitely want both of these other two midfielders to be joining in the attack. So if the ball is playing from over here, you have free reign. What might happen here is you might get our striker to kind of move out here to allow space for your dribble into the center. And then you can end up making a pass either way as you go, or you can take the shot. Now, as this midfielder moves forward this way, we talked about a holding midfielder moving back. So you might kind of shift over a little bit to take that, assume that position. That way, if a ball gets defended and it bounces this way, you're there to receive it and then play the ball right back in to the attack. Right, so that's why we want that 6 and 8 role, right? You guys are alternating who's playing the holding position. based on which side are we attacking from. So, sometimes we call this the strong side. I know it's a American football term, but if the ball is being played over here with the strong side, it's the attacking angle of attack's over here, so the 6 would fall back here. Okay, cool. I don't want to make this too long. We're at about 10 minutes, so hopefully this was a good kind of overview of how we're going to play this formation, and how we want you to both expand and contract as we move out and as we defend. One of the biggest things we're looking for today in everyone's kind of like as a whole team is, as soon as we win possession, we want players moving forward. Okay, boom. You'll hear Kevin and I often yelling, like, defense, backs, move out. The reason is because as soon as that ball is played up here, right, and we have possessions, we'll say one of our wingers is dribbling down this way. As you guys now move out, you're bringing that offsides line with you. So you're forcing all of them to come out with you. If you don't move, you're allowing them to just stay put, and then they can just, if this winger gets dispossessed, that ball goes right back into there, and they're not offsides. So part of it is bringing the offsides trap. The other thing is we need support to our attackers, right? We can't have a winger just be all on their own. We need that striker to move forward up here. We need this midfielder to support this attack, right? They should probably be getting in front of the winger so that the winger can 1-2 off the midfielder and then continue the attack forward. So we're really looking for, as a team, as a whole, as a unit, everybody move out as we begin to attack on the transition, right? There's generally we call 4 phases of play. We are attacking, we are defending, or we are transitioning from defending to attack, or we are transitioning from attacking to defending. So most goals occur during those transitions, right? When you're transitioning from not having the ball to suddenly having the ball. Because what happens is when a team is in possession, they're in an attacking formation, right? They're kind of lined up as an attacker, but suddenly they lose the ball, and in that transition, we catch them out of position, right? They're not where they're supposed to be as a defensive unit, and so we expose that weakness, and we're able to score. So if we transition quickly from a defensive posture to an attacking posture, we catch them out of position and we score more goals. Likewise, if when they receive the ball, we don't transition quickly enough into a defensive posture, then they end up scoring the goals. So always be thinking, yes, we have, how you're playing when you have the ball, when we're attacking. We have positions for defending, but it's that transition and how quickly we transition that allows us to be effective and, in the end, win more games. So we'll see you guys out on the pitch.